than that lady. No one has won more, and she's still going strong. That one of her big singles from last year. 8:36 on your Thursday morning, and we love having interesting conversations on a Thursday. And today's about as interesting as it's going to get. Across from me is Tania de Kock, competitive chili eater. Good morning.
Good morning, Brad. How are you doing?
I'm good. Look, there's got to be more to you than just a competitive chili eater. Quickly, before we get into this, is this, I can't imagine you wake up in the morning doing push-ups, chewing on chilies, wearing red all the time. Tell us a little bit more about you before we get to the chilies.
Sure. Well, I'm Tania de Kock, and I have my own company called Tania de Kock Communications, and I live in Malmesbury, and it started as a hobby, and then now it kind of became more of a thing. So yeah.
So have you always enjoyed spicy food? Is this where it starts?
Yes. So actually, growing up, I don't think my parents really made spicy food. We'll have like a curry, maybe very mild curry. And then when I was in grade 11 or matric, I went for pizza. I think it was a date. And they had the fresh chopped chilies, that you get at the Italian places. So I had the fresh chopped chilies on my pizza, and I was just hooked. I was like, wow, I don't know if it's endorphins or what happens. And it was just amazing. And from there, I just tried to get hotter and hotter. And my husband would actually, when I met him at university, he would buy Tabasco and he would keep it in the cubbyhole of his car for me. And then he started to just buy like hot sauces at all the farm stalls he went to, and he went on like trips for work.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where it started, and then it just escalated.
So this is so fascinating because we all think we like spicy things. I've heard people say it, even my son, I like spicy things. And then you give him something that's just a little bit too spicy, and then you can't get to the water fast enough, or the milk or whatever. Yeah, the milk to try and put it. So we all think we like spicy, but I'm getting a feeling that there are some recipes and there are some sauces, and then there are those chilies out there that are potent.
Yep. So, I mean, I was used to, when you go to the shops, you really only get cayenne pepper, or like maybe you get a habanero or something like that, jalapenos. So that's where you start. And then you kind of build up. And I never knew what a pod was, for example, like a chili pod. I've never heard of a super hot.
Yeah.
And then, I can show this is like some of the super hots.
Okay, hold it up again.
I don't have the names of all of them because I got it from this amazing farm, Scoville Republic.
Yeah.
They gave me all of these. I went last Friday. They've been amazing. So I just walked through their farm and they just picked these for me. And I said, I'm going to have to ask you again. But I'm pretty sure this is a Trinidad Scorpion Maruga. And then this is my nemesis, a chocolate butla.
Oh my goodness, I've never even heard of that.
It looks like chocolate, but it doesn't taste like chocolate. It is horrific. And then this one I can't remember. It's not a Carolina Reaper, but you get many, many different chilies, and they tend to be quite big as well, the super hots. So you also get more like spicy, where you've got Indian curries, that's more spice, and then you've got actual chilies. It burns a little bit differently.
It does burn differently. I find this fascinating. So you developed this palate for just chilies, and is this your personality where you say, I've just got to try a hotter one and then a hotter one? Is that kind of summing you up a little bit?
It's funny. I think growing up, my parents kind of instilled a resilience in me. And I think, we went on these 4-day hiking trails on the Wild Coast or in Transkei. And, you only had, had everything you needed for the 4 days on your back, and you just slept wherever. And I always joke and say, my dad would always say, life is like a hiking trail because you just keep going. And I think I like the challenge of pushing things a little bit further. Even in my own business, it's that being uncomfortable and just seeing what you're capable of.
I find this fascinating because you read and you watch things online. And so my first question to you is, like, when you're eating one of these hot chilies, the burn is real. I've, as a joke years ago, put into, but one of the supermarket chilies, for you, that's like nothing. But then you feel like your tongue is going numb and it's taking you over and you don't know what to do, and you're just grabbing for something and your nose runs, your ears burn, and you start to panic, like, what is happening and how long is this going to last?
Yeah.
And for you're saying, bring it on.
If maybe because it's a seasonal thing, it's the chilies kind of grow in summer. I'm by no
Okay.
means a chili expert, by the way. I'm just learning as I go. And I'm very grateful for everyone who does grow chilies. And it's kind of when you're at the competition, say if you haven't had any super hots for a while and you
Yes.
take one, your body goes in complete shock. But if you build up your tolerance, it's not that hectic. But in the competition itself, because you're eating so many, and they also give you huge pods, super, super hot, hyper hot pods. It starts I always say, the mouth burning is not the problem. It's if it gets outside of your mouth on the
Okay.
skin, and when it moves down and you start to cramp. So your stomach really starts to
Oh my
cramp.
goodness.
And what I think is, look, they say it like releases endorphins, and that's why
Yeah.
people, keep looking for a hotter thing. But I find that you really have to focus and almost separate your mind from your body. And then, I always say you ride the wave. So my friends like to joke and say, okay, when I give them something hot, they're like, okay, just ride the wave. But that's kind of what you do.
This is fascinating to me. So it's almost like what's going to happen. It's going to hurt and I'm going to cramp, but I'm doing it. So now there's something that struck me in all of the stuff that I've done in preparing to connect with you today is this idea of it being a sport. And this fascinates me that someone will say, let's become competitive. So what are you hoping for? What is the competition? Who's going to say, I can't anymore? How do you lose or how do you win?
Yeah, so just on your first note, I think, why do people run? I also enjoy doing half marathons.
Yes.
I've never done a full marathon, but you cramp, it's uncomfortable. You're like, why am I doing this? It's very similar to that. And I'm terrible at traditional sports. So I
Okay.
guess I like to joke and say, well, I had to find something I'm good at. So it just happened to be this very bizarre thing. So in the competition, you basically, if I can explain how
Please.
it works. So let's say it's 8 to 12 people. You sit on a stage and people just watch you. And you have kind of, milk in front of you that
Okay.
you're not allowed to touch. So just, tempting you. And then they basically bring chili after chili after chili. Sometimes they'll even give you up to 4 chilies, and then you eat it. Sometimes there's a time limit that you have to finish it. And basically, as soon as there are 3 ways to kind of fall out of the competition. You
Okay.
tap out, you drink the milk, or you can't hold it in anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So your body will start to reject it at some point. So it's really trying to focus quite a bit.
I find this so fascinating. Really, I do. And again, I think this says a lot about your personality because this is something that you've got to push through this, through the pain, through the difficulty. And I never once ever thought, well, let's think about other sports where you're also pushing through the pain and the difficulty and you just can't quit.
Yeah.
You've done really well. I mean, you were runner-up in the Africa League of Fire National Chili Eating Competition. When and where was that?
Yes, so this was recently, March, I can't remember the exact date, and it was, so Festival of Fire hosted it, and League of Fire, so it was from overseas they came, the UK Chili Queen, Shane, I was seeing she came to like present the whole thing, so it was the Africa League belt, and it was at the ostrich farm, did I say that already? And then basically they had the contestants from all over the continent competing against one another.
Mm-hmm.
And they also had the previous South African champion, Gary Gonco, competed against America's champion. So that was amazing to see as well. That was a separate competition.
Okay.
And that's kind of where I placed second. And that's where this whole story started. Or this was the 3rd competition that I've done of Festival of Fire. In 2023 was my first one, then last year again, and then this year.
So what caused you? How did you not win? What happened? What, did you reach for the milk? What happened?
Oh no, I never give up.
Oh,
I joke, but no. Unfortunately, my body always fails me. But in this year, so usually the nausea does get the better of me.
Okay.
But this year it wasn't that. It was mere seconds. It was 3 of us left on the stage. One random guy I've never seen him compete. He was amazing. Duncan, I can't remember his surname now. Apparently he has no pain receptors, so that was interesting.
That's interesting.
And then Royce McCain, who won, and then me. And I came seconds away from finishing. So it was a speed round. We had to eat
Okay.
about 10 of I think it was 9 or 10 of the chilies, super, super hot. And 2 of them were jalapenos. But the problem is they're quite chewy, like you have to chew a lot.
Okay.
So I think I knew to go for them first. And I just couldn't get it down fast enough. So he managed to swallow first, show his smile.
Oh.
So watching it back, it's quite hectic to see how close it was. But I'm still happy with.
I mean, winning is clearly on your radar for next time around, right?
I would love to get a belt. Yes. Yeah.
And then this has opened up the doors for you for international competition because Italy is looming, or the possibility of Italy in August. Tell us about that.
Yes, so I am completely honored and blessed to have been invited to go to Italy. So it's I'm going to butcher the language, but I think it's Fiera Mondiale del Peroncino. So it's
Sounds
called,
good to me.
who knows? And it's going to be in Rieti in Italy on the 30th or the 31st. They're still confirming in Italy. Yeah, so that is a bit expensive to get to. And they only invited me in end of Feb, and they said you have a week to RSVP.
Sure.
So I didn't expect to be invited because I was the runner-up. But I'm joining, so Royce McCain, who won, he's also going. So the two of us will be representing South Africa. Yeah.
South African colors in chili eating.
Random, I know.
Yeah, it's awesome. So can you practice for this kind of a thing?
Yes, so the first 2 years, the very first year I did this, 2023, I randomly just saw this ad on a Sunday, I was feeling brave, fresh week, and I entered, and they made me audition by eating a maruga, so it was much bigger than this, I think it was like about this size, on camera, and then they phoned me and said I should come compete, and then I didn't practice, except that was my very first super hot I had that day, and then the next one I had was at the competition. So I didn't practice for that. The second year I practiced a little bit, and now this year I tried to get super hots. I was actually in Australia visiting my sister, and she managed to get me chilies there because you can't take chilies into Australia. And I tried to practice there, with reapers. And now I am trying my speed eating. I'm trying to kind of practice that so I can be a little bit faster because the heat tends to not be my biggest problem.
What does your husband say about this?
Oh my goodness, he's my biggest fan.
That's awesome.
I mean, he literally had our friends print T-shirts with my face on.
Yeah.
Not only just with chili eating, everything I do, he's a real example of, how a husband should support his wife. So shout out to him.
So are you going? I mean, I know it's expensive and they gave you such a short period of time, but are you going to do it?
I prayed a lot about it, and I thought, should I do it? And everything in me at first was like, no, it doesn't make sense. I just went to Australia. It was a lot of money to go see my sister and meet her baby, but it was, for family.
Yeah.
And I was about to say no, and I had a friend's kid's birthday party, and I chatted to some of my friends, and everyone just said, go for it. God will provide, kind of thing.
Yes.
And so I decided to create a Back and Buddy page, and so I have confirmed that I'm going.
Yes.
I did say, and they said your seat is at the table. So I am going. I now just need to do all the logistics and get the tickets and pay for everything.
Exciting.
So I'm trying to raise some money. I've tried to come up with some interesting ways because I don't really react as much when I eat chilies. I have, for example, challenged my neighbor if he would drink a shot of super hot sauce with me, if I made 1,000 rand in donations, and everyone really rallied. They were like, yes, let's see him suffer. He did that. So shout out to Fred. That was amazing. So I'm just trying interesting ways to raise money.
There's something that I've noticed. You've shared so many names, and this person won, and this person was new, and this person is going with me, and this was the champion, and they're all guys' names. Where are the ladies?
Well, it is definitely more a male sport.
Is it?
The first year when my husband actually took a photo of the lineup of contestants, and it was hilarious and this is also why I'm wearing red lipstick today.
Oh, yeah?
This is my trademark now because I looked way too girly. I didn't look like I belonged there, and I was also the shortest contestant by far, and I kind of liked that they underestimated me. But I have seen more and more women. And, after that first year when I placed second, people came up to me at Bossa randomly after the competition, and they were like, oh, you're that chili girl. You inspired me.
Wow.
Yeah, that was very strange to me. I was like, wow, okay. If I can inspire anyone, by all means. So that's kind of now when the Festival of Fire, when Shahina Wasim, a woman, presented it, that was also really cool to see.
Yes.
So I hope that more women will get into it. I think it doesn't have to be because it's not all women, but the speed eating can be a little bit more difficult. The volume of chilies by that time. But it doesn't mean we can't do it by any means. So, yeah.
Well, you're the runner-up, so you've
better.
proven what's possible. So I was going to ask that, whether women should be competing against women or men against men, but you've got stuck in there and you've shown that women can do this. You just got to, I suppose there's certain areas of this, if someone might be better at speed eating. The other one
Yeah.
doesn't have pain receptors in their mouth. That sounds a little bit unfair.
Look, that's what I've been told. I don't know if it's true. So, Duncan, I'm sorry if it's not true. And that's just the story that's been going around. I
Yeah,
don't know if it
maybe
is.
it's just that good. There must be
Maybe it
something.
is,
There
yeah.
must be something wrong with this
Well,
taste.
that's what everyone says to me as well. Like, what's really wrong with you?
So how do you just eat regular food and enjoy it? Is it boring? Is regular food just boring?
No, I've never had where I actually think it enhances the flavor of the food. And especially with these chili sauces I brought, they bring really interesting flavor combinations together. So
Okay.
I love these chili festivals because I get to chat to like the sauce makers and the growers. And for example, this one chili sauce, they brought like whiskey into a butla, which I thought like butla is my
Would you
least
show us?
favorite.
You've got a bag
Oh,
of
yes,
things.
of course, I'm on
We'd
camera
love
as
to
well.
see. Yeah, we'd love to
Can I
see some
show
of
you
these
those?
things.
So
I found
I'm
this
sorry
fascinating.
to all the people I didn't bring sauces from. These are just a few I grabbed quickly this morning. I left very early. But Fat Prue, he has been supporting me quite a lot. This Maruga is my favorite, super hot.
Can you pass that to me? I
Yeah,
think
it's
I've
almost
seen
finished though.
that.
And then
I'm
I
sure she just
also-
drinks it out of the bottle, probably.
I
There
did
must-
actually.
How weird is that? And what is the number 13? Does that mean anything? Is there a 14 or a 10?
No, that's
Oh.
his name for it. I actually don't know.
Oh.
I need to ask him.
Contains no added preservatives or thickeners.
Yes,
But
that's
it contains-
like Tabasco-like because it's a very thin.
I can see. I'm
consistency.
shaking it here. If you can
Like
see,
this
it's
is a
kind of
bit
watery.
thicker.
Okay.
This Vice chili, oh my goodness, they've been amazing. They sent me a full hamper of these chilies. So this Maruga monster, I only tasted it recently and it is delicious. So for example, they're pairing it with a twist of citrus,
Oh.
which is just incredible. It's hot, but it's super flavorful.
Anything called like monster and
Yeah,
crazy
I know.
and
They
liquid
try to.
death and all of this is crazy.
This drunken barbecue sauce is the one with the whiskey and the peach preserves. It's very interesting the flavors they combine.
Do you put chili sauce on all the food you eat? Just because now that's kind of what you used to, what you want. I'm not sure. Does bland just not do it for you?
Well, I mean, now that I'm training, I'm really trying to add fresh chilies so that I'm
Okay.
getting used to that. But it's not like it's bland. I really appreciate food like that.
Okay.
I think it's more, it just adds a little bit of oomph, like salt adds oomph.
Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, I take like a spoon of this stuff as well just to taste the actual flavors. This
And
one is the one my neighbor drank, the Liquid Death. It's a Carolina Reaper.
Liquid death.
which
I
is-
mean, really. That gives you a clue as to what it's like. So now, you want to bring
Cowboy candy.
cowboy candy. This gets crazy. These are things you don't even see in regular shops. You've got to have special suppliers to get all of these things liquid. You had me at liquid death there for a moment. Are you not worried about what's going to happen to your body, or do you handle it fine?
That's funny. They were also asking me out there about that. Everyone's very curious. So I've asked my doctor and they said, no, spicy food is fine. In fact, it's actually packed with vitamin C. I know
Oh.
like my jalapenos, I eat jalapenos. Okay, I'm not joking, like cucumbers because I like the crunch. We also grow jalapenos, so it's the easier one to grow. And so that, for example, if you log your food, it says very high in vitamin C. But I am not a doctor, so I'm by no means going to give any medical advice. According to me, I don't think you should eat competition level
Okay.
30 super hots in a
Okay.
day. And I don't think you should keep it in your system. But the sauces and everything, I don't think there's anything. I think it's actually really good. A lot of people joke and say they don't get sick because they eat a lot of hot chilies.
One of our listeners here is very proud. He's sending us pictures of his chili plant. He said,
Oh.
yeah, so he's got some chili plants out in Pretoria. He says, here's a chili
Oh.
plant, and there's another one. One is green and one is red. It's all the same to me. I'll have to show these photos later on to Tanya. She can come around to
Yeah,
my
I can
side of
order
the
some
desk.
chilies from you.
Yeah, she can tell me exactly what those are, but I don't have a clue. So coming up in August, she's been invited to Italy for the second official Intercontinental title belt match chili eating competition. I love that. Sounds like WWE wrestling.
Sometimes feels like that.
So we're very proud of you. I think this is fantastic that you are
Thank you.
inspiring people. You're doing something that the majority of people would say, no, she's mad. But actually, they also wish that they could enjoy something a bit spicier. You're inspiring people. You're inspiring women. You're going out there as a believer into the world. You're doing something that I think is quite admirable. And you're so darn brave. So I think this is awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I think I said to them as well, if I had to speak to myself,
Yeah.
I would also say why. But when you're in it, it's just, I don't know, it just makes sense.
You're making a name for yourself. There's opportunities all around the world. I think this is amazing. I've been speaking to Tania de Kock, competitive chili eater, and we've heard she's a whole lot more than just that. Thanks for making the trip through all the way from Malmesbury.
Oh, no, thank you for inviting me. It's
We
been amazing.
appreciate that. All the best for August. Anyway, we can keep an eye on you on the socials to see how you're doing.
Yes, so on TikTok and Instagram, that's where I mostly post, at Chilli_girl_Cape Town. So
Okay.
I've kind of become Chilli Girl Cape Town, so you can follow me there.
Well, we're very proud of you. And should you win, and even if you don't, like, what's next? What's on the goal sheet for the future?
Well, I'll see what unfolds. I mean, I think that opens up a lot of opportunities, and I'm really looking forward to meeting some fellow Chilli Eaters, global Chilli Eaters, and just other people in different countries. I think that's going to be super exciting. So I honestly don't know. I'm going to go and give it my all, and then see whatever doors open next.
Chilli Girl, Cape Town. We're going to keep an eye on Tania de Kock and see how well she does and in her preparations. And all we got to do is play Eye of the Tiger. Dun, dun, dun. And then we know she's ready. As for me, thanks so much that I could spend today, get you up and getting you going. Tomorrow morning, 6 a.m., we'll do this again for the Friday edition of Get Up and Go Breakfast. Playing out with some music from Almarie. The liedjie se naam is awesome. That sounds about right. After connecting with Tanya here this morning, we've got news coming up at 9. And it being a Thursday, we look forward to hanging out with Mersha and bringing you Kopskyf.